I call the meeting to order of the joint meeting of the City of Sioux Falls City Council and Minnehaha County Commissioners. It is Tuesday, November 27th, 2018. I would recognize that there is a quorum on the county side.
And I would ask that the clerk read the roll for the City of Sioux Falls.
Council members Kiley,
Here.
Neitzer,
Here.
Selberg,
Here.
Sale,
Here.
Starr,
Here.
Staley,
Here.
Brecky,
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
And City of Sioux Falls has a quorum present.
I'd ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I remind you to silence your cell phones if you have not done so. I'd ask for a motion on the county side to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
I would ask for the Sioux Falls City Council for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Kiley, seconded by Erickson. Can I have a vote on that, please?
Council members Kiley,
Yes.
Neitzer,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Staley,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
The agenda is approved 8-0.
Item number 1 is a change order number RFP number 7 in the amount of $757.81 for rock and gravel added to the Irene Hall Museum Resource Center parking lot. Bill Hoskins. Good afternoon, Bill.
Good afternoon. We received the final billing from Pesca Construction, and in the auditor's office, as we were reviewing it, we discovered a discrepancy of $757 going back through the records. We discovered there had been an RFP that, for whatever reason, I didn't get to you in the past. What happened is on October 25th of last year, Geotech Engineering, who does testing for us, had recommended that additional gravel needed to be added to the parking lot area. And apparently Runge Enterprises, who was doing dirt work, was there and dumped it that same day. An RFP was generated in December, and for whatever reason, I missed it until now, and so I'm asking you to approve a change of $757.81, and then this will finalize the Pesca construction bill.
Thank you, Bill. Is there anyone from the audience that has a question regarding this item? Is there anyone from the council that has a question regarding this item? Commissioner Staley. Councilman Staley.
Are we going to have a discussion time too, or is it?
This is it.
Oh, yeah. So I just want to make a comment that, Bill, I saw you on Kello this weekend. If you had a chance to catch this, you did a great job of highlighting the new facility and talking about the availability of people to come in and watch, look around, and just letting people know what we have available. So, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Staley. Any other comments or questions? Look for a motion. Excuse me, Commissioner Bender.
So, Bill, this will close out this project?
I think the only bill we may have is a final bill from Coke Hazard Construction that I have not received yet. I'm not positive we received the final bill on that. But this will complete the Pesca construction contract. And everything else is in the process of being paid. For 54th Street, the donation for the street, the sidewalks, that's all in the pipeline to be paid right now. The only thing I'm not sure about is Coke Hazard.
So where do you think we came out on the project?
I think we came out at let's see, a grand total of $3,474,189.72. I think is the grand total, and that's about just real quickly. I think it's about $180 under the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional comments or questions?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second on the county side to approve the item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion
Yep.
passes unanimously. Just a minute. We have, okay, we need a roll call on this one from the county.
Karski,
Yes.
Barth, Bender,
Aye.
Iverson.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Do I have a motion by the council on this item?
Move to approve Erickson.
Second.
Okay, move
Kylie.
to approve by Erickson, seconded by Kylie. Any discussion? A vote on this item, please.
Councilmembers Kylie,
Yes.
Meitzert,
Yes.
Selberg,
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Staley,
Yes.
Recky,
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
That's a pass 8-0.
This item passes on both sides. Item number 2 is a briefing on the proposed contract with Augustana Research Council and the Homeless Advisory Board by Councilor Marshall Selberg.
Good afternoon. A lot of familiar faces. Thanks for the opportunity to present here today. I am the relative newcomer to the board. Over the past year, I have had the opportunity to observe and learn from the vast experience each of these members brings forward. It has been an invaluable education, and I have leaned heavily on these folks for their insight and expertise as I have attempted to continually learn more about the subject. What we are here today for is a brief introduction of where we sit as of today, how we got here, and then we will be available to answer any questions. We've got a number of the board members here to answer questions for that purpose. For the past several months, the HAB board has met a number of times with the goal of trying to find the most effective way to move forward. We have gone through everything from our history, covering the initiation of the HAB from the 10-year plan to end homelessness in 2006, up through the resignation of the director earlier this year. 2 meetings with other local organizations that deal with this issue to see how we fit in with each on the big picture. Some have found the HAB to be somewhat wandering for some time now, without a defined purpose or a tangible specific mission. Without the requisite authority and funding, some members have sometimes found a lack of purpose in this entity's work. So for the past 5 months, the city and county have engaged in conversations to review the journey HAB has been on, evaluating where we currently are, and now working to examine what potential alternative strategies may be best prepared to move us forward. The dialogue exposed the need for additional data that could best be utilized as a foundation for the city and county to determine what the next steps need to be for the HAB and the full-time position. Realizing the scope and importance of this data, the committee opted to meet with Augustana Research Institute, which resulted in the proposed agreement being written. The City-County Joint Committee would ask the Sioux Falls City Council and Minnehaha County Commission to approve the use of appropriated funds left in both respective 2018 budgets for the full-time coordinator position to engage in this research assignment with ARI. The object of this study, as noted in the agreement, will provide information necessary to define the mission and vision of the HAB and to identify key research questions and ongoing needs for data tracking and analysis. The study also aims to identify and recommend community-level metrics to measure outcomes of that work and to identify and recommend an organizational structure and function for the future of the HAB. The total for this study is $26,850, with the study being completed by May of 2019 and the cost to be split between the 2 entities 50-50. As all of you know, homelessness is a many-faceted issue. It is not easy, it's very complicated, and it's going to take an organized, focused effort for the group to be effective. In a nutshell, we have a lot of work to do, and there are a lot of dedicated people here that have been working diligently in an effort to find some solutions. It is our hope this study will get us closer. So thank you again for the opportunity to be here today and for your consideration. And with that, we will all be here and open it up to any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Counselor. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Okay, I would remind the board that this is a briefing, and so if you have any questions, this is the time to ask them. Councilman Staley.
So is the document that we got, is that made for the public that you sent? So talk about, you have another item there of the eviction study?
There are a number of avenues that we talked about as far as that Augustana had brought to us as areas to be possibly study. And what we came to the conclusion of is that for now, the ones that we'd come up with, everything from review of metrics and benchmarking, organizational analysis. Hopefully you're all looking at the same sheets I have, but I think of the topics we talked about, we agreed that those would be the ones most important to tackle first, with eviction possibly down the road.
Because I thought it was up to like $30-some thousand.
That's if there was an add-on on it. What we had decided at this point was to stick with the part that had the cost at the $26,000.
Additional questions?
I was just going to explain that what you got was the original proposal where we had asked for kind of a multifaceted quotes on different items, and then once we saw the cost breakdown, the HAB board met and decided that really the money would be best spent, the money that we had available at the time, to really focus on what metrics we could measure that would help us to decide whether we were making an impact or not, and try to get some benchmarking from other communities to see where communities had had success. And so those are the things that we're working on. The contract itself does not cover the eviction study at this time, the contract that we're being asked to approve today.
We're actually not approving today, this is only a briefing.
Excuse me.
That's fine. Commissioner Karski.
So I'm trying to get my mind around exactly what the purpose of this study. Is the study to give the HAB, the HAB guidance? Is the study to determine, does the HAB have a viable mission within our county and city? Is it to determine, or do we go a different direction? There's a lot of people here that have been working on this for a long time. Is what we're doing, is it the right thing? Help me understand.
Kind of a little bit of everything. I would say yes to all of that. I think that's what we've been trying to do, is kind of find out. I think it was put best, I was maybe at my third meeting at this last year, and I think a particular member had said at one point, we have to decide what we're doing here. I mean, we all have some good ideas, and we're talking about a lot of things, but are we moving the ball in the right direction? And I think in a nutshell, and please somebody else if you have more to add to this, I think everything that you just brought up is what we're trying to get to.
I would add, and I'm the county representative on this on the Homeless Advisory Board right now, and I think that really the committee had been in place a long time. There had been a lot of members that had kind of dropped off, and we hadn't really reconstituted the group. And so when the executive director resigned, we thought this was a great opportunity to kind of focus the group a little bit more. We all agree that homelessness is that homelessness was not eradicated in 10 years, even though that had been the original purpose of this. And that's still a laudable goal, but we wanted to make sure that we were, as was said, that we were making an impact, and that the things that we were doing were proven to really make an impact on that group and that particular homeless component of our community. And so the purpose of the Augustana study is to help us kind of reconstitute that Homeless Advisory Board, give us a mission that's very purposeful, and help us to give us some metrics that we can use to measure the work that's being done to see whether it's being effective or not.
Councilman Erickson.
Thank you. As I see Carrie Benz and Joe Franken here, and we sit on the triage task force, and oftentimes we talk about homelessness and triage in the same sentence, and I don't know if there's any, and Augustana Research Council has done work for the triage as well. And there's others of us sitting up here that have worked on that project. That I don't know if there's been any talk at all of kind of meshing this together into one board that would talk about triage as well as the Homeless Advisory Board, because a lot of that is overlapping. And so I don't know if that's been part of the conversation. So it's more of a statement than anything to see if there's a lot more work to do on the triage stuff that goes hand in hand with the homelessness. And so as we've talked about the Homeless Advisory Board and getting that new purpose and that renewed focus, a lot has changed in our community over the last 10 years. And so having that focus, I think, is key as we see our community grow and expand and neighborhoods change. I think that's important too. And so I'm in full support of finding that direction, but I would just throw out that triage if makes sense, bringing that into part of this board as well. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
I don't know, we've met with a couple organizations along this path too, kind of talking about that. What can we tie into? Is there ways we can work together? And the meeting with Thrive, I think, kind of sticks out for me in that there, I don't know, you sometimes think it's a natural combination, but yet there's a lot of reasons why, and they were frank with it, why they thought that might not work. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a conversation worth having.
I've actually had the same thoughts, but I think that no matter which direction that goes, this study's important, and whether it ends up with work that is done in the triage or whatever, we still need the study. And so we're at this point right now, and we're a little farther down the road with the triage, and so I think it's still important. I think this is valuable information that can go a lot of different directions and be used a lot of ways. And so I don't see it as a hindrance, and I don't see it as a mistake. I think it's a good direction to go. Commissioner Kiley, or excuse me, I can't get this all right. Councilman, Commissioner Kiley, yeah, we got it right. Okay, which one do we want? Commissioner Karski.
If I could. So the $26,850 is the money that's remaining from the salary from the HAB director, and you want to repurpose that money. And according to the last paragraph of our briefing, it says you're going to ask permission of this joint body to repurpose that money for this. So is this informational, or is it
This is
an action?
informational today, and then each of us are going to our corners, if you will, or back to our way to, I know that we've had talks before about how this would be done on the city side, so.
Okay.
Councilman Brecky has a question.
Well, kind of a question and then kind of a statement, because as I'm hearing, I'm just learning about this for the first time. So, you know, when I'm trying to wrap my arms around it too, it's one of those things like, you know, do they currently have a plan and a mission and action statements and goals and objectives? Because if they don't, you know, it can be a chicken and the egg thing. You can do the study first and then develop that plan, or you can do the plan first and then develop, you know, the study needs. And I guess, you know, it's a statement as much as it is a question. I would just offer a suggestion that somewhere in there needs to be a plan, either whether it becomes before or after. And I certainly support what you're doing in trying to get the information, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be used better if you take that information and then develop it with, you know, some priorities, a plan, some goals and objectives, some actions, and then, you know, follow up with funding for those. So that's just a thought. And I guess I kind of frame it as a question. Does that make any sense, you know, what I'm
I
suggesting,
agree with
or
that. I
is
think
that
that's
what you're
kind of the
already
goal
talking
of
about?
this too, is to have that tie-in and put that plan together. Again, please, anybody else has something to throw in?
Councilor Staley.
So what was Stacy's total salary?
I'm going to have to have a refresher on that.
We-
Anybody?
I'm thinking it was around 60.
I thought it was like around, yeah.
It's around 60. I did ask a couple days ago, and I forgot already.
David Bixler, City Council Budget Analyst. The city has budgeted $43,020 for half of the salary of that position. And in the 2018 budget, there's still about $17,000 remaining. And then we have the full $43,000 budgeted in 2019.
So my question would be, if it's kind of sounding like we may not be replacing that person, or is the study going to tell us if we replace the person? So then at the end of the day, we may just be proceeding onward as we are now, if the study
I
says.
just want to clarify one thing
Okay.
that Commissioner Karski talked about. The contract or the agreement is $26,850 for the study. That's not how much is remaining. That's how much the agreement costs. Just
But-
so that's clear.
But where did that money come from, though?
Shared 50/50 between the county and the city.
Right, but, okay, just for clarification, he was asking if that was the remainder of her salary, and you're saying it's not.
That is what he stated, and that
Yes.
is not the fact. The cost of the study is $26,850.
Excuse me, Counselor Kylie. I think you're gonna have to move all the placards this way so I get them right.
Just in case, that would be right.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I would just like to express support for the direction that the board is going. It seems like we're at a very logical place right now to step back, analyze what we have done, and formalize a plan for where we'd like to go. And I would just suggest that as you do that, that maybe you put, write in parameters that allows Augustana Research Council the ability to also consider other entities that are out there that are working toward the same goal, and maybe include that collaboration or that possibility of collaboration between this board as well as others that exist, so that we could maximize our return. Good job.
Thank you.
Additional comments or questions? I'll see if I can get your name right. Commissioner Barth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honestly, I've been involved in the Homeless Advisory Board for a long time. I was on the board quite a bit for a while, but you know, we did kind of a study previously where we found that the 30 or 33 most expensive people in our community, that is, who are daily inebriates, who are in jail, who are in the emergency room, who are in the ambulance, who are laying on the street, were costing us something like 35 grand a piece a year. And so we came up with the Safe Home Project, and that has, you know, it may not have saved taxpayer money directly, but it saved ambulances in case anyone needs one. It saves emergency room space in case anyone's family is in the emergency room. And I think it's been a great success. We did kind of a study on that. The next project, which was, I think the HAB was brilliantly part of, was as a partner with the Bishop Dudley House, where every year about this time, about November, we would be saying, where can we have people warm up? And every year we had to reinvent the wheel and beg the Salvation Army to let people come and flap on the floor. And finally we've got that taken care of. And in the same way, I guess, finally I would say that that was sort of the low-hanging fruit. So how can we get at the heart of the matter where we have, you know, the guy that's been drinking for 30 years and sleeps under the bridge? That's what everybody thinks about, but it's actually the family of 6 with only one parent that has no place to go for who knows what reason. It's actually the young person with uncertain gender identity who's been kicked out that is living on the street. There's all kinds of niche individuals that we have to worry about. And hopefully this study, I don't really like the idea of spending a bunch of money on spinning our wheels doing studies, but I think this is a reasonable shot.
Thank you, Commissioner Barth. Additional comments or questions? So my understanding is the direction is this are going to go back and be on the agendas of the City Council and the County Commission for further discussion and passage. And I'm assuming that will happen before the end of the year, so the next couple of weeks. So thank you for that. The next item is public input. Is there anyone here that would like to speak about anything that is not on today's agenda? And seeing no one moving, I would ask for adjournment on the county side.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Same motion on the city side.
Move to
Adjourn?
Second.
Move to adjourn by Kylie and seconded by Erickson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. The meeting is done.
You can't like